I am Arlene Jones, and I am a farmer, a dirt farmer. Yes, I grow food in the dirt. This is a story about how a dirt farmer has helped build community through food. I am one of 11 of a beautifully broken and blended family. Some of my primary meals as a child were free and reduced and through summer feeding programs, but I always had a place at the table. We didn't have much, but we had a dinner table and a dinner routine. Mealtime was family time, where we connected over food, reflected on the day, and current events, and it was really important to be at the table. Our table wasn't limited to our family and was oftentimes occupied by those who didn't have a table to sit at or a family to sit with. The magic of those moments is not made up, and the learning that comes from sharing conversations lives on. Many studies show why it is so important for families to eat together. Children who eat a meal regularly with their parents are more likely to show greater academic performance, are less likely to be obese, have greater language skills, and generally report that they are closer to their parents. For me, sharing meals with my children was the true essence of soul food. Recently, I read an article in our local newspaper asking area residents to take the Sunday Dinner Pledge. The Sunday Dinner Pledge is an effort to see more families sit down with their senior loved ones for dinner even once a week. New research shows that half of surveyed families living near their senior loved ones feel that they do not share enough meals and are losing important stories of the connective tissues of our families. From a senior's perspective, it is not what is on the table that is important, it is who is around the table that is important. This meal was the last time I saw my grandmother. In a recent survey of our mental disabilities population, the one reason that they cited for poor eating habits is because no one is at their table, and they miss the fellowship of their table. I haven't always been a farmer. I spent 25 years in the healthcare field and mortgaged the farm in 2006. I had no idea how to be successful at row cropping and knew very, very little about farming practices, but I knew that my family desired a lifestyle centered around sharing good food with good people. Purchasing the farm was a means to more deeply invest ourselves in our community by developing a destination farm with vegetable production. And I soon realized that I was at a completely different table. This new table was a creative and artistic palette I could never, ever have imagined. When you don't know what you don't know, you are vulnerable. And vulnerability leads to transformation. Transformation and resilience is how communities are built. And every new community partner that came to that table with me needed to know that their work came with a reward as well. When I became we in this region in developing local foods, we realized that we needed to grow growers. What does grow growers mean? Growing growers means basic food safety and licensing training so that all small family farmers in our region, all of our farmers, have access to fair and equitable markets. Farmers are working diligently to protect our heritage seed stock and indigenous foods and are bringing those foods to the table. And Big Ag knows that community building is not a fad. These small family farms have great capacity to grow our nation's food, and growing growers means providing any support and technical assistance necessary to get our locally grown foods to the table. By growing growers, we are also building solid relationships with committed buyers, deepening the conversation on the value to local foods to consumers, like each of you, because every one of your food dollars spent on local foods is a conscious choice in the right direction. Economic estimates reveal that for every $100 you spend locally, $68 stays in your community and continues to recirculate. Look at the difference. Understand what this means. Only you can build these bridges in your community, creating necessary, absolutely necessary, sustainable relationships, nurturing the heart of your community, creating local jobs, and building the real, palpable place where you live and call home. From my perspective, one of the most important things you can spend your money on is food, our common denominator, the table which draws all of us together. While the latest estimate from USDA reveals that local food sales are at just over $6.1 billion in 2012, this is just a minute drop in the bucket compared to the $1.3 trillion spent on food in this country of that same year. In the same USDA national study, farmers markets are up 180%. Farm to school is up 430%, and that makes me very, very happy. Food hubs have increased by 288% since 2007. In this rural region, we understand that the agricultural sector is a viable economic engine, and we are succeeding at keeping the food grown in this region. Sprout, our local food hub, which was founded in 2012, is now working with over 50 small family farms, 50 small rural family farms. We are feeding children from 7 school districts, impacting an estimated 12,000 area children. In collaborative work between educators, farmers, and food service directors, we are working diligently at getting more kids to farms, creating deeper connections to food and healthier choices. When children actually see where food comes from and it's not neatly stacked on grocery store shelves. One of the more innovative programs this region has supported is Choose Health, a prescriptive, community-supported agriculture program where healthcare providers are actually referring patients to health through food. Recipients are pre-screened, identified as food insecure, which means sometimes having to pay a utility bill and not eat or feeding their children before feeding themselves, or have been identified as having healthcare problems directly related to their diets. In creative public-private partnerships, which include public health, community healthcare systems, foundations, local units of government, nonprofits, nutrition educators, and numerous farmers, this program has been sustained with 2 additional healthcare systems in this region replicating this program next year. This type of community collaboration is what inspires me to keep coming back to the table. We are working on gleaning programs. Gleaning is the hard work of making sure that agricultural products, which would be left to waste, come off the field and into the bellies of the hungry people in our region who need that food. Apples, cucumbers, and sweet corn were gleaned this year. We recruited elementary students to help us do that work. You see Crosby 6th graders helping us glean cucumbers off the field. We incorporated that food into the Choose Health CSA and distributed it to our local food shelves. And now, these children are our partners at the table. People do really want to be connected to their food community, and that is why agricultural tourism is so popular. No longer is it just corn mazes, hay rides, and apple orchards. Many farmers are opening up their entire operations in complete transparency, providing opportunities for all to witness the really hard work it takes to grow our food. Why? Because we're farmers. We're very, very proud of what we do, knowing that we are at the right place, the right table, at the right time. And as we continue to grow connections and build communities through food, as farmers, we understand that when you sit down to the table and eat a meal together, not only are you sharing the table with each other, there is a farmer and a farmer's family sharing their story at that table with you. So who's at your table? I ask you to choose health. Be responsible for your own personal well-being, your food choices, and buy local. Take the Sunday dinner pledge. Be at the table and fill up your tables. Support and sustain your small family farms, your food hubs, farmers markets, farm-to-school, food cooperatives, and local food establishments. And remember, we are the farmers that are growing your food, and we are at your table. Thank you.